Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast. I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and we've got a great conversation here today for you all. Katie Merrick, the Vice President of Business Operations for the USHL's Fargo Force, joins us here today. Katie, how are you? How are the holidays going? How's the season going there in Fargo?
Well, good. Thanks for having me, first of all. It's a little cold here in Fargo. We just talked a bit about the weather, but holidays are always a fun time, and we're excited to get back after the USHL break midway through.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know you guys just had our friend Johnny Lazarus up there in Fargo for the weekend and doing some games and some content there with you guys. I want to get into that later, but more importantly, Katie, I want to understand your role a little bit better. VP of Business Operations. You've been there for 4 or 5 years now with the Force. Tell me a little bit about your role, what it entails. Maybe not the day to day, because I'm sure it changes every day, but what all does your role oversee there, Katie?
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a vague title, but my role kind of oversees really every business aspect of the force. So I work with our food and bev department. I work with our ticketing department. I do a lot of our marketing, our game day promotions, and then I work with our team as well on the hockey ops side on getting stuff like that scheduled. So it's a cool role for me because I get to touch really every aspect of the business on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Do you have a favorite area of the game, or is it sort of that all-encompassing component that makes you enjoy your role the most there?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the day. Like hockey ops is really fun on days we're winning or something fun is going on. Like food and bev was fun. Last week we were decorating pies for the Christmas gifts for our suites. Like there's different stuff that goes on all the time that makes every part of the role fun. So I guess depending on the day, I could pick anything.
Absolutely, and I think one of the reasons your role and experience caught my eye, and I wanted to chat here, Katie, is because, like you said, it encompasses so many different areas, and I think so many times coming out of school or early in careers, people are told, "Hey, pick a lane, pick a path, figure out exactly what you want to do." And as somebody who's director of operations in a tech or business role right now, and somebody who's VP of business operations for a hockey team, to me, operations is one of those fields where it kind of pays off to be a bit of a generalist of some sorts. You get to touch so many different areas of the business. Is that what kind of drew you into operations? Is that just something you kind of picked up and have learned here along the way with the force?
Yeah, I think it's kind of been a development piece for me. I've learned a lot of it along the way. Like you said, when I graduated college and still now, everyone is always asking what my next step in this career is. What am I going to go into the pros? Do I want to do college? Like, what's the lane? Everyone wants you to pick a lane. But this job that I'm currently in is a ton of different lanes, which I really do like. Like you said, the operations aspect is so vague. You get to be a part of all of it. So I think coming out of college, like if you're like me and struggle to pick one spot that you want to land in, don't make yourself pick one spot. It's good to be in any role, and if you're happy to do it that way, you just got to be a little jack of all trades, I guess, and be willing to do anything.
Absolutely. What are some of those different areas that you maybe touch? You mentioned marketing and game day promotions. Like, is graphics something you thought you'd end up doing? Is that something you've come to learn and enjoy along the way? What are some other areas that maybe people wouldn't expect fall under your domain there, Katie?
Yeah, so like you said, I do all of our graphic design, all of our still graphics, so social media, our in-game stills, all of that stuff. It is not something I thought I was going to do. I took one class in college that had some graphic design in it. I was horrible at it, but when I started here, I put that on my resume and said I could do it and I'd be able to pick it up. And I have. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I found that looking at people's old Photoshop files and Adobe files helped me figure out how to use the system. So definitely not something I thought I would do, but it's something that has paid off for me a ton, and has been a big part of my role here. Production, I oversee our production staff and help out there. That's another role that I did not know that I would be coming into after graduating college. Again, I took one class in radio, not that I thought I was going to do anything with it, but they did teach me a bunch of the camera things to know, the like Premiere Pro stuff. So when you're in school, if you're listening to this and you're in school, those extra classes you can tack on have actually ended up being the most valuable classes that I've taken. I can't remember the last time I had to do a math equation without my calculator, but the classes that I added on at the end of the day, like the last month or last semester of my college experience really have paid off for me.
Could not agree with that more. I went for sports business, as everybody listening to this has heard me bring up a million times, but I want to say like my third year I was like, "You know what? I'm halfway to a human resources minor. I might as well just tack on some random courses. These were all very easy. I might as well just keep doing it." I ended up, getting the minor in human resources. Don't think I ever thought twice about it, but now, like I say, at my day job, I'm hiring people, firing people, whatever it is day to day. Like you said, those little things that sometimes you don't see it as a stepping stone on the path, but you pick up those different courses, those different learnings along the way, and you never know when it may pay off in a role later. As far as Fargo there overall, Katie, how many people are in the front office full time there? How many people are you working with day to day? And who are some of those roles that your role interacts with the most?
Yeah, we're a pretty unique organization as far as the USHL goes. Shields Arena and the Fargo Force are both owned by the same parent company. We also have a nonprofit that offices out of the same building that is owned by the same parent company. So we all work together. So my day to day isn't necessarily all staff of the Fargo Force. It's our events manager for Shields Arena, or it's the box office director that's technically employed by Shields Arena. I do obviously work a ton with our salespeople for the force. Our team president and our general manager are a lot of my day to day people. But this office is fun to be a part of because you get to interact with the people who are also putting on the concerts or who are running the gaming sites or different things like that. So not only is the force side of it a lot going on for me, there's always some different aspects going on in the building as well.
That's very cool, and I would assume from the outside looking in that that helps kinda just create the sense of community there in Fargo when all the events are kinda tied in together, and they know they're coming to the rink for regardless of what type of event or get together it is there. The Force have done an incredible job of integrating with the community. I mean, the attendance numbers speak for themselves when it comes to Fargo and what you guys have done there. The donations and charitable initiatives that you guys do as well. Talk to me a little bit about just the community component of your role, Katie, and how you guys have been able to, relate and grow so well in the community there.
Yeah, I think like the Fargo Moorhead area is really special. For those that don't know, Fargo Moorhead are kind of like the Twin Cities. They're two cities directly next to each other. Like you can drive 5 miles the other direction and get to the Moorhead area. But I think we have over 18 rinks in the area now. So it's a ton of youth hockey all the time in this area. A lot of high level players are training here. So hockey itself is really a big component of this area. So for the force, for us to have been able to get the community involved has been a big piece for us. Not only it's nice to do that, to be involved in the community to donate back, but it's been big for us in ticket sales and getting that out to our community as well. Because when people see the players at the Sanford Children's Hospital or giving food or push to come out to a force game more, they see our boys in the community and they want to be involved. So it's been a big piece for us, that community aspect for sure.
That's awesome, and especially the school visits and stuff. Again, like we were talking about off there, I worked for a couple OHL teams in a prior life here, and that was always the coolest thing to me. Right? Is it's a small town. Okay, it's not the Blackhawks, the Wild, the Leafs, whatever it is, but it's people that you can bump into on the street. It's people you go see at the rink here on a Friday or Saturday night, and then you go to the school visit, and everybody's wearing the Force jersey, or for me the OHL jersey. And I always thought those school visits were the most impactful thing because you're creating a lifelong fan, right? They practice in the same rinks, they practice in the same areas, they go to those games. How much have you kind of seen the payoff from proverbial payoff there from attending some of those school visits and youth hockey events where you're hitting that hockey audience at a young age?
Yeah, we've seen it a ton, like on the ice and off the ice. We have a couple players this year that are from the Fargo Moorhead area, so they grew up watching the Force. They remember players coming to their classrooms. They came to games when they were young, and now they're back and they're playing for the team. So you see that payoff, the impact that this team has had on the level of hockey in this community. And then you do see it definitely around the community as well. There's nothing I love more than like walking down the aisles of Target and seeing someone wearing a Force jersey or a Force hat or a Force hoodie. It's been a big part of our success is that involvement with the schools and the kids and getting those people to come back.
Yeah, no doubt. And you touch on the jerseys there. I know you guys have gone through a couple different variations of the jersey and the logo while you've been there with the Force. I love the look of the new ones, the black and white. It's just so clean and simplistic in a good way there. Talk to me about going through kind of a rebranding of the team. I know that was earlier in your tenure there initially, but what's it like to just kind of have to change the logo and the branding and the promo packs and when you're making the graphics, what all goes into that sort of rebranding of a franchise there?
Yeah, you kind of discover things along the way that you didn't think would go into it. Like you said, that rebrand happened really early in my tenure. So I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, I was unprepared for that to happen. Like I would have done things differently where I'm at today. But Matt Cullen, he played a ton of NHL games, won some Stanley Cups, is stud. He is from Moorhead. He bought into the team my second year. So he's one of our part owners. And when he came in, he obviously knows what he's talking about, right? He's a great NHL player, a super smart hockey mind. So when he came in, he had brought the idea of doing kind of a rebrand. And we started way off the wall with different names and different logos and totally rebranding the team. And where we landed was dropping that blue and going to that black, white, and gray, really clean look. And I love it too. I was a tough change right away. I did like the blue, but now that we're in it, I think it's gone such a long way for the brand awareness of our team, not just in the community, but out in public too. You see it online. People will reach out and ask if they can use our logo for their youth teams or for a project they're doing. Like people it resonates, I think, a little bit better with people, but it took a long time to get here to fully drop that blue, to get the graphics dialed in, to get the font dialed in. All of those little changes, once we got it figured out, I think has made a massive difference for our team. The jerseys have made a big difference. They look so clean, and we work with Tidal Wave on those. So that's all been a big change for us. But I think a change that you can see the increase in our attendance from, the increase in our social media numbers from. It's been probably the most impactful difference that we've had in the last few years.
That's awesome, and yeah, the jerseys again, for anybody who hasn't seen them, we'll throw it up on screen here. They're so clean.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite jerseys in all of hockey, let alone junior hockey. But another key component of kind of the growth there, I'm sure, Katie, is the on ice success. And Fargo's been rolling out a great team for years. Obviously, Clark Cup champions a couple years ago. There, how much does the on ice impact your day to day in the business operations side of things there?
Yeah, it definitely goes hand in hand, and you can see it from that championship season. We had really great attendance. Part of that is just the organic marketing that you get in your community when you're playing well. News stations want to cover it, radio stations want to talk about it, newspapers write about it, and it's all free. You don't have to pay any of that marketing for it. So that definitely had an impact for us. We saw it in the stands, and then fans are just talking about it more organically in person too. Like, did you see the Force went on a 10-game heater? Like, we have to go to a game. So I think definitely it had an impact. It impacted our season ticket sales for the following year. But our team traditionally has always been pretty successful, and the hockey market in Fargo pushes for that. I think we're a really hockey focused team, and we want to improve, like, we're working on the development of the players too. So I think for us, the standard is to be good. It's kind of expected. So for us to not be would be a stretch, but it definitely helps when you win the most games in league history, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. That's
Yeah,
definitely a good
yeah.
problem to have. And I wanted to touch on the arena there as well. I know again you mentioned Matt Cullen coming in and sort of the team that was part of the rebrand and kind of build up there. I know you guys went through some arena renovations, whether it was the locker room, the gym, even just the arena itself there over the past couple of years. How much has that sort of been a factor again in your day to day, kind of the growth there overall? And I mean it's a fabulous facility.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be a part of a lot of those changes, and all of those changes I think impact the level of play we have, the attendance we have, the fans' passion. I think when people see that you're putting money into your building and into your team, they really buy in. And same with the players. Like they see we care about the facility that they have. They want to come play here because our ownership puts money into it. So yeah, it's been good. We just did a few more this year. We added new video boards. We did TVs around the concourse. There's some cool new neon signs downstairs. But the whole locker room got redone a few years ago, whole weight room. So that's a huge credit to our ownership and what they're willing to put into the team. I think at every level you see it. The more you put into your players and the more you put into your building, your fans reciprocate, and the success on ice obviously has shown because of that too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I feel like I'm bouncing all over the place a little bit here, Katie, but that's what happens when operations people are talking about the all-encompassing jobs here. One other thing that, I love that you guys have done there in Fargo is working a lot with different media coverage and outlets and influencers. Whether it's again Johnny being there last weekend with you guys, or the Everything College Hockey guys a couple years ago, or Nasher last year. I think those partnerships and collaborations are so impactful for the modern day viewer and the youth audience on socials and everything else. Tell me a little bit about how those opportunities maybe came about and some of the benefits or why you guys wanted to pursue again with Nasher, Everything College Hockey, and others along the way.
Yeah, everything college hockey was kind of that first influencer one we did. That was super organic. They were supposed to go somewhere else that weekend. It ended up falling through, and Fargo was on the way to their next destination. So they asked if they could come by. Worked out so well for us. They're a really talented group. They produce unbelievable videos. And like you said, for us to be able to get what our facility looks like out there, get our players on screen, like it's all been great for us. It's really good branding, and it's nice to have on social media for us to send to prospects or our fans. Nasher was really our first like paid and planned influencer marketing thing that we did. So we worked with Tidal Wave Sports. They're our jersey company. They also do a lot of Nasher's products. So they connected us, and then the plan went on from there. So really, that one was all about who knows who and how we can make this happen. We do also host events during that same weekend Nasher came called Squirt International. There's I think there's 70 teams last year of youth hockey players in town, so it's a lot of his demographic. It was good for him that way too. So it kind of just worked out that it was mutually beneficial for both of us, but that's been unbelievable. Like he's a great guy. He produces awesome videos. So him to have him in town and be able to build that connection has been great. So we're excited to see what we can do with him here in the next couple of years too.
Absolutely, absolutely. As far as influencers or creators in hockey go, I think that's pretty well 1A, Mr. Nasher. He's as good as he can get. So that's an awesome kind of debut or initial foray for you guys into the influencer space there in Fargo. I also know, and we've chatted a little bit offline, Katie, that you guys hire a number of different interns through the year and through through your tenure there as well. What are some of the different intern roles that Fargo or maybe other USHL teams sometimes feature there?
Yeah, we have a few different promotion internships. So that'd be the people on the ice that are doing chuck a puck. They're bringing the little chippers up and down the youth teams. We also do like a team store internship, our box office internships. And then there's a lot of different part time roles that maybe aren't technically internships, but we're pretty flexible on that as well. So, like our ice crew, our food and bev. But for anyone that is looking for an internship, I think a lot of times when there's roles that are filled, people will just decide that they don't want to do it. My first internship that I ever did was with the Red Hawks, which is a team here in Fargo, a baseball team. But it was during COVID. So the internship I signed up for was a promo internship. And instead, we ended up each rotating through every internship spot available. So I did ticketing, food and bev. I did some promo. There wasn't a ton during COVID, but I think that was more valuable to me than doing one specific thing ever would have been. But kind of back to what we talked about with stuff in your college classes, the more you can diversify yourself, the more value you add to an organization. So I think even if you apply somewhere and the spot you actually wanted was filled, if you can get in and grind it out. And if you hate it, you're done in 6 months, but at least you can say that you had that experience on your resume.
Yeah, that's very well said, and I say it almost every episode here, Katie, of just getting your foot in the door, right? It's probably more impactful for them to hear it from you than me, but just getting your foot in the door, right? Whether it's there in Fargo, like you said, so many different events, the arena, the team staff, all working together there. Just getting in the arena, and maybe it's that promotions job, maybe you're handing out ice cream cones, whatever it may be. That first opportunity being in the building when hockey is happening, or there's other hockey people around, you never know what opportunities may arise or who you may bump elbows with in the hallway, right?
For sure. And always remember that people are watching. Like you said, even if you're the person that's handing out ice cream cones at the door for a promo, if you're doing it well, someone is taking notice of it. So never think that your job is not important because every piece of it really is.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And again, to tell my story or talk about me, make it all about me here. My first internship in the OHL, like you said, it kind of walked through all the different roles. I'm tracking shots one night, I'm running the video board one night, live tweeting one night. The only two photos that I have from that internship, one is me interviewing Nick Suzuki. I was not qualified at all to interview people, but I was on camera interviewing people because again, you wear all the hats. And the second one is me handing out Skip the Dishes, which is Canadian DoorDash, coupons to people inside the arena. So, like you said, no matter what it is, those are the memories that stick with you. Those are the lessons you learn and you take forward with you, whether it's, interviewing a future NHL superstar or handing out DoorDash coupons.
Two big roles.
Yeah, very similar in nature. Back to the interns a little bit there, Katie. I think the one thing that I hear most often from college students or young professionals looking to get into the industry, and sometimes feels like a cop out, or they just need some more clarity. Is, well, I don't know who to reach out to or how to reach out to somebody. If somebody were to reach out to you, Katie, and say, "Hey, I'm interested in a promotions internship or a photography internship, whatever it may be," what would you look for or hope to see in that email or LinkedIn message that would, make it stand out to you, make it relevant, and give them a shot of maybe landing that upcoming internship?
Yeah, I have said this to you before, but grammar is huge for me. I always think like if somebody can't put in the extra 10 seconds of effort to spell it right and say it right, then they're probably not going to be the person for the job. And that might be not true, but when you get a lot of people reaching out, like you kind of make those snap judgments. So take the extra effort, make it sound good. And also hate this. This is a pet peeve of mine when people ask questions they could have found the answer to. Like if someone says, "Hey, I'd like to come to a game. When are the options?" Look up the schedule. Like, "Hey, I'd like to come and be an intern. What do you have available?" Look up the internships on the website. Like, put that extra effort in. Because if I have to type it out for you, I've already lost some faith in the effort you're gonna put in at the building too. Those are my two big ones for sure.
Those are very well said, and I couldn't agree more there. I think it's finding out the things that should be easy to find out, or I would expect you to find out in a role. That
Yep.
resourcefulness and
Yep.
looking up when the schedule it is hardly resourcefulness, but resourcefulness is the thing that I preach the most in interviews and with candidates of like, I need to know that you can solve a problem when a problem comes up, or you can find suggestions, solutions. Sure, fire them over to me and say, hey, I found these three options. Which one do you think is best? But it's about finding those things right. And I say it all the time, especially with the USHL. And we were lucky enough to have Glenn Heffernan come on the show here earlier and talk to a bunch of people in the USHL. Almost all USHL emails are available on the team website. All business
Yes.
staff, everything that's out there. So I personally don't like hearing, "Oh, I don't know who to reach out to," or "I can't find somebody to reach out to." It's all there if you put in the effort, right?
Yeah, 100%. And reach out to anyone because most of the time, if someone gets an email, it's not for them. You just forward it on to the next person that you know who it should go to. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And again, goes for a lot of leagues and teams, but it's amazing how much is available at your fingertips online. Everybody listening, be sure to take advantage of it because that will help set you apart from the rest. But Kitty, I think this has been awesome. We touched a lot of different areas of your role there, as your day to day does. The thing that we always wrap up with here is, what is your best piece of career advice for anybody looking to break into the hockey industry?
Yeah, I think this is another Matt Cullen phrase that he brought in this year. We have it on one of our signs downstairs. It's kind of become a standard for our team. It's from a book that a San Francisco's 49er head coach wrote, but it's the best do more. Not everyone is trying to do that at different levels of this building. But if you come in and you're doing just exactly what's expected of you, you're not going to get that extra mile. Like you have to do more than what the people around you are doing to reach that next level. So that's what I would preach to anyone that's trying to break into hockey. If you're told that you need to do this one job and to execute it properly, you need to do this, then try a little harder and do a little more than the person next to you and you'll make it to that next spot for sure.
That's a phenomenal quote. The best do more. And I lied. I do have one more question here for you, Katie. In the meantime, speaking of the best do more, you were, acknowledged and honored to be announced as the USHL's Executive of the Year last season. Just personally, being in the organization for a couple years there, seeing the growth of the team and the business, what did that acknowledgement mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. Glenn announced it when we were at the business meetings in Nashville this summer, and it's an award that's voted on by the ownership and the like the presidents, the vice presidents, the GMs of the arenas, anyone that's on that executive board. So it's a pretty big honor to have been voted on by the people, like my peers in this field. But it means a ton. I mean, to get acknowledged in that way, I think that award doesn't exist without all of my staff here either. Our sales team is unbelievable. Our food and bev has been awesome. And that's because the people that are working in food and bev, obviously, like we talked about, team success makes a big difference. So shout out to Coach Skinner there. But it's a huge honor. It's really cool. And I was shocked when I got it when we were in Nashville, but I mean, thank you to the other owners and the presidents that voted on it too, because it's a cool thing to be told that the people who are doing the same thing you're doing think you're doing a great job at it. So definitely was proud of that one.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you hear hockey players say it all the time that the awards voted by their peers mean the most. Same goes for you here, and just like a true hockey player, Katie, you were sure to shout out your teammates and the people around you in your thank you as well. So, Katie, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for the time here. It's been awesome to see the continued growth and success of the Fargo Force. I'm excited to see what you guys get up to next with some more big games, big jerseys, big influencer collaborations, whatever else may be out there. If people have any questions for you, Katie, where would they best be able to find you?
Check fargoforce.com.
You got it. You got it. That's the answer I was hoping for. Katie, thanks again for the time here. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast.